Going on, everybody, man? It's your guy, Nick Frazier, one half of the Water Cooler Talk podcast, man. I told y'all tonight is going to be a big night for us, man. I hope y'all ready for this. I hope y'all ready. We about to talk about it right after this. Let's go.
Boys and girls of all ages, you're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
Going live.
With the coolest podcast.
The Water Cooler Talk podcast. The coolest podcast.
In your ear.
Ladies and gentlemen, man, we appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us here around the Water Cooler, man. Thank y'all so much for rocking with us here tonight, man. I told y'all tonight was going to be a big show, man. As you can see around the Water Cooler with us tonight, the man himself, college football analyst, recruiting expert, the host of The Scoop with Dukes. Dukes, The Scoop, man. Appreciate you so much for rocking with us tonight, man. How you feeling, man?
Man, that's good, man. I'm a little under the weather, man, but I wouldn't miss this for the world, bit, dog.
Man, nah, man, we appreciate you, man. Hooked up with Dukes at the Senior Bowl this past week, man. We switched numbers, man. Asked him to come on. He was like, yeah, man, let's make this happen, man. Thank you so much, Dukes, for giving us this opportunity, man. Gracing us with some of your time, man. Thank you so much, my guy.
Nah, man, too easy, man. Nah, y'all do a good job. I'm glad you asked, bro. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no, thank you. That's what I'm saying. Thank you, man. Hey, man, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Talk Auburn football, man. You're an Auburn grad. Grad. Auburn just had a great spring portal. I mean, not spring portal, winter portal. Brought in the number 6 recruiting class, number 5 portal class. Dude, just give me your thoughts on this class going forward. What are your thoughts going forward for the 2025 season? How this class is going to be instrumental for Auburn going forward for this coming up season? What's your thoughts, man?
I think more than anything, we saw Auburn had a willingness to play the best player regardless of age and class last year. When you look at all the true freshmen that came in and played, Cam Coleman, Malcolm Simmons, defensively, Malik Blockton, DeMarcus Riddick, Jay Crawford, Caleb Harris, and I'm missing a couple. When you look at their willingness to play impact freshmen, I think it says a lot about the type of players that they are recruiting, and they're able to recruit these type of players because if you go to Auburn, regardless of class, if you're the guy, you're the guy. So I think by you look in that safety department where you lose a guy like Jaron Thompson who played a ton of snaps. Now you have opportunity. Let's see how Eric Winters does. New Boy Fagans. You got different. You have different types of players that can fill different types of roles. I think Crawford from Parker is going to play early. So then you go and you look at what they did in the transfer portal because you recruited so well from the high school ranks. Now in the transfer portal, you could get you could go and kind of take your pick and say, where do I have holes? Where I need immediate help. You go get bookend tackles. Mason, I think it's Mason Miller from USC. Mason Murphy. Yeah, Mason Murphy from USC. Chaplin from the 6'7" guy out of Virginia Tech, who I'm hearing is going to play left tackle.
Yes, sir.
You go and then you go get a luxury pick like Rayon Strader, right? 6-foot corner who can really play. He's going to play a lot this year. So Xavier Atkins, someone who's more of a project, but he has an elite athleticism and he has tools that you can't teach. So I think this year you'll continue to see the trend of young players playing. And I think it's all about we talk about transfer portal. It's all about what you get in the quarterback room, whether that be Jackson Arnold, whether that be Deuce Knight, who was from high school, or it be Ashton Daniels, who's the forgotten man who's played a lot of football and whose skill set is going. I think his skill set will relate well in this offense. So I think whatever the Auburn goes as far as the quarterback position goes. So I think you've really shored up a lot of holes. So you would hope to at least be in the 9-win range this year.
Yes, sir. Yeah, you mentioned some names on the defensive side of the ball, and Jordan Crawford and Anquan Fagans and Eric Winters. Man, I've been on record saying that I think that by year 3, Jordan Crawford would probably be the best defensive player in the country. I'm just that high on that guy, man. I'm just that high on him. You also mentioned a guy by the name of Rayon Strader, man. Transfer portal guy that came in, who I believe is probably going to be the other starting boundary cornerback on this defense, man. Just talk a little bit about that, man, right there. How important it is to have him on the other side with Jay Crawford and how that's going to be able to give Auburn that security blanket on the outsides in this defense, which potentially is going to be young, but they have a lot of guys that played last year with a lot of experience. Just talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think Strader is a guy who allows you to do some different things with K and Lee. I think Jay Crawford is going to continue to play, whether it be field or boundary. I'm not sure which one he'll play this year. You would think that you would probably. I mean, it don't really matter. Like when you go outside, you go talk about perimeter cornerbacks. Don't you want to have guys with decent length? And I think that Strader is someone who's played a lot of football. He does have that prototypical size.
Yes.
Now, the only thing about that position is Ken Lee's not going anywhere. I think I think one thing that people forgot about Ken Lee is how many snaps he was playing a game. Lee was playing around 60 snaps a game last year, which is a lot. By being able to cut these guys' snaps down to get into a rotation where you have guys that can play, get them into the 40 to 45 range and play more players and keep them fresh, you'll see a different Ken Lee. But, he had some games where, he was just why you want long corners? Right now they said that the intern when it comes to wide receivers going up, most of people is getting dunked on.
Yeah.
He got dunked on a couple times last year. But I think his dedication to the offseason where even now in player-led workouts, they say he looks different. He's giving corners, he's giving wide receivers fits. And but I think Strader only strengthens that room. So I would say right now, I would think Strader, like going in the spring, I think you still go with Ken Lee and Jay Crawford. But I think you're going to get on the field. I think a lot of people think professionally Ken Lee is a nickel. So I think you'll see Strader outside and see Ken Lee bump inside occasionally, and maybe more than that. And I think DJ Durkin is going to have a field day when it comes to moving those chess pieces around.
Yeah, man. When looking at it, man, I always say on the show, man, this is a good problem to have when you have this much talent in the room. Some guys are not just gonna play. Some guys are just, when the competition hits, whoever the best man is gonna win. I've stated that I felt that Ken Lee probably should hit the Jalen Simpson role, probably should move to a free safety position just to get him on the field and have a Strider and have a Crawford on the edges and still, have the opportunity to get him on the field and play. But moving over to the offensive side of the ball, which is what all Auburn fans are looking at. I think I put a poll up on our channel basically saying which side of the ball do you trust the more? And I think 97% of the people that voted said they trust the defensive side more than they trust the offensive side. Looking at what Coach Hugh Freeze and his offensive staff have done, going out adding Eric Singleton, going out adding Horatio Fields. You have Malcolm Simmons coming back. You have Cam Coleman coming back. Adding a Preston Howard, adding Chaplin at that left tackle position and shoring that up. Excuse me. Also, getting Mason Murphy and also having Xavier Miller coming back, which more likely will be a competition for that right tackle spot. Adding a Darrell Robinson at the running back position in his running back room. Talk a little bit about that. And of course, the big piece, adding Jackson Arnold at quarterback, which we all think is potentially an upgrade from what the quarterback position was last year. Talk a little bit about the offense, man, and how you predict this offense to look this year moving forward with the pieces that Coach Hugh Freeze and his offensive staff went out to get in order for them to run the offense that they want to run.
Yeah, I think the quarterback just needs to be a point guard. If you think about going 4 wide or even going with 11 personnel, it's not really going to matter. You got matchups all over the place. When you talk about right now, I think as it stands from player workouts, the first 4 when they were going has been Cam Coleman, and Eric Singleton, Horatio, and Malcolm Simmons.
Okay.
Then you look at the offensive line right now. Spring were to start today, from what I'm hearing. Too Tall and what's the other guy who came from JUCO 2 years ago? Dylan
Wade.
So that'll probably be a left guard, left tackle, Chaplin. Left guard, it'll be between Wade and Too Tall. Center, Connor Lew, of course. Right guard, Jeremiah Wright is kind of starting to solidify that position. Then right tackle, Mason Miller, right?
Mason Murphy.
Murphy, I keep calling him Miller. Yeah, the USC guy.
Yeah, the USC.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, that's how that's going to play out. And everything changes with the spring. But they feel very confident when I'm talking to guys, sources over there. They feel very confident in this offense. And it's really going to be about the trigger man. Like, think about what you have to do. If you go 4 wide, you're going to have to double somebody. If you don't double anybody, that means that you're going to get everybody in single covers.
Exactly.
You can't have Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton. Now, imagine going trips. Let's say you go trips to the field side, and you have Eric Singleton as your 2 and Malcolm Simmons as your 3. That means that's either a linebacker or a safety is in trouble. Like whoever you bring down, or you're just going to have to change your whole defense in order to keep up with the type of speed and agility they have on the perimeter. So I think as long as you get decent point guard play, and that's all. That's why I'm calling it this year, because all you got to do is distribute the ball. Like you would have to go to Ohio State to find a deeper wide receiver room than what Auburn has this year. I mean, from Cam Coleman, and Cam Coleman really, you saw that what Cam Coleman did his freshman year. That was with, and no disrespect to Peyton Thorne, but that was with subpar quarterback play.
Very true.
So you hope that the level of play at the quarterback position can raise the play on the outside. So going forward, if you're an Auburn fan, you got to be excited about what they've been able to do offensively in the offseason, as well as what they're returning.
Yeah, man. Still sticking with that quarterback position a little bit, man. I appreciate that insight there, man, about who potentially right now could be the 4 guys that can go if they were to go 4 wide, man. Sticking with the quarterback position, man. Last year, Peyton Thorne, 2,700 yards, 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, about 62-63% completion percentage. Didn't play a game and a half. Potentially, if he would have played that game, he probably would have been a 3,000-yard passer. Looking at what Jackson Arnold is doing this year, you're saying he just needs to be a point guard this year, which I agree with you to that point. What do you foresee his numbers looking like this year? Could he potentially have the greatest single season as a Auburn quarterback in Auburn history? Now, if you're talking about single season, you're talking about Damian Craig, who threw for 3,200 yards in one season. Could we potentially see him? Could we potentially see a Jackson Arnold throw for more than 3,200 yards this year? If you had to way too early, if you had to pick and say that, do we see that from a Jackson Arnold this year?
If he's a starter, whoever's a starter, whoever's running point, you got enough talent to go over 3,000, 3,200 yards. You definitely got a 1,000-yard receiver there. Exactly. You got multiple guys who can go for 1,000. If they throw the ball enough, I mean, I can see Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton are both guys, 1,000-yard guys. So if you can distribute the ball enough, you can get it there. And then you got to think Hugh Freeze is always going to play. He's always going to want to hit the flex tight end. You think even last year in the offseason, Rivaldo Fairweather had over 30 catches in the offseason, in a down season, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So, they can go, definitely. Is that the record, 3,200?
Yeah, I think Damian Craig was like 32. It was like 32-30, if I'm not mistaken. I believe Damian Craig was. And I think Cam was 2,800, but he had 1,400 yards receiving as well. So, 1,400 yards rushing as well. All right, man, let's take a look at this, man. The biggest thing that we talk about on our show, of course, it has to do with Coach Hugh Freeze, man. How much do you trust this? Let me set the question up. All right, so we're all excited about what Coach Hugh Freeze is doing on the recruiting side. I think a lot of people are excited about the accumulation of talent, what he's been saying he's been needing on this team. Talent-wise, he's basically said he needed receivers that can catch the ball. Then he said he needed somebody that can not throw the ball to the other team. We've seen him go out and do that double up almost. Now that we've seen him accumulate the talent, what is your faith level, or I'm gonna say it, what is your level of confidence in situational game plan, situational play calling, and game planning with this coaching staff on the offensive side? The whole thing about having 3 guys calling plays and things of that nature. What is your faith that with the accumulation of talent that Auburn has now, that we see something different with this coaching staff moving forward? Or are you one of the guys that have to see it first before you believe it?
Yeah, I got faith. I just think this is what I know. They backs against the wall because you don't bring in a class financially. Like NIL, you don't bring in the class like this financially without expectations to win. So with all that being said, bro, he's literally got to win to keep his job. So that gives me all the faith I need. It's win or go home this year. Like there's no world where Auburn underachieves, and by underachieving I mean like under 7 wins where he keeps his job. But it's not a 7-win roster. Like that's a 9 to 10 win roster, bro. When you go up and down the depth and the pieces that they have, you probably you have plus players at every position group, every one. The 2 that you may say you don't have a plus player at, and you have good players that will probably be maybe safety and running back, maybe. But
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Like if Damari Austin and Darrell Robinson and Jeremiah Cobb is not as good as the defensive line or the edge group, you got a hell of a problem.
Yeah.
And to be honest, man, I mean, we just haven't seen Damari get the ball.
Very
You know
true.
what I mean? So
Very true.
at this point, no, I think Auburn should be fine. But the truth of the matter is, if they don't win, Hugh Freeze is gone. That's not and it's not because I think he's a bad coach. I think it's because that people in Auburn are starved for a winner. And at this point, I think, you know, the patience, it's been too long since Auburn has been in meaningful games in December.
Very true.
So,
Very
and you know how it is in Auburn. They don't play the radio.
Yeah, man.
8 or 9. And it's not even me being disrespectful or not even me being like, oh, calling for somebody's job, man. A spade is a spade, brother.
True.
And so with that being said, that gives me all the faith I need. I think that they step up to the challenge and do enough to keep their jobs this year, which I think you gotta get a. I really think it's 9, but 8, 9, and you got to beat one of the big ones. You get 8 and you beat a big one, you'll be okay. But 9, yeah, I mean, but end of the day, spring ball, they adding a couple more pieces, which I'm hearing that they're looking at some guys in spring, you know, that they're looking at a couple of positions that they may be able to upgrade in the spring portal. From that point, they add anything else because you saw they had their even with the wide receiver room that they have, they still took an OV from a wide receiver from Notre Dame.
Yeah.
So they still they're looking to stockpile talent, and I think you really got to mess this one up. And I don't think Hugh Freeze gonna mess it up.
I feel you on that. Way too early prediction. Is Auburn a playoff team?
Talent wise, yeah, they just haven't put it together on the field yet.
Got you.
Yeah, talent wise for sure. Auburn dad for life said, "Be honest, Dukes. Been a long time since Auburn gone in October." Yeah, you're right.
With a meaningful game, he got a point there. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you this. Then we'll switch. Before we get up out of here, how important is the Baylor game for Auburn? How important is that first game for Auburn? Especially, I know a lot of Auburn fans. I call it the Auburn PTSD. The first 2 seasons under Coach Hugh Freeze has not been what we thought it would be. How important is leading off this first game of the season with, I call it a formidable opponent, you know, bringing back a 5th-year quarterback in Sawyer Robinson at Baylor and potentially some weapons on the outside. How important is that first game for Auburn against Baylor?
It's everything.
Okay.
As far as you look at how Auburn ended the season and you want to talk about momentum, you want to talk about building something, you want to talk about erasing bad feelings and bad memories and really just kind of the resurgence of the power of Jordan Hare. And where is that game? They going to Baylor? They kind of
Waco. They got to go to Waco.
Yeah, so you got to go to Waco. And if you now imagine this, you go to Waco and you win. Imagine how lit Jordan Hare is going to be when they come back.
Exactly.
I mean, literally, Jordan Hare will win the next one for you if you go to Waco and win. So that's a big game. You see a game like that, it kind of lends to one to have a guy who's been in a tough environment on the road, whether it be Ashton Daniels or Jackson Arnold, right? I'm hearing Deuce Knight looks he's ahead of schedule for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a very, very important game. Now, I said it's everything. I don't think it's the end all be all for the season because I think Baylor's going to do some good things next year as well. But they actually ended up having a pretty good season this year. Actually, last year they went bad. What did they win? 8?
They won 8. Yeah, they lost to they went 8-5. They lost to LSU in the bowl game.
Yeah, they went 8. Yeah, they won 8, and that was Dave Aranda's season on the line. That was his job on the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's an important one. No, two coaches that need to win, right? And I think that if you can go out there, punch them in the mouth, and they're home, then I think that sets up Auburn for a double-digit win season. But I think if you go out there and you lose, I think it's going to be tough. And one thing you don't want to do is lose the locker room early. And you got a tough schedule next year.
Very true. Very true. Then you start out with Baylor, then you have Ball State and South Alabama. Then right after that, you got 2 back-to-back games on the road against Oklahoma and Texas A&M, and then Georgia at home. So, yeah, that's your first 6 games. So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. Let's switch gears, man. National college football analyst, recruiting expert, Dukes and Scoops, man. We appreciate him so much for rocking with us, man. You cover Colorado, man.
Mhm.
Colorado signed Juju Lewis, man. Wish he was at Auburn, but hey, things happen.
Right.
But they also signed Caden Salter from
Mhm.
Liberty. Give us a little insight of what you're hearing about this particular quarterback battle, or even if it is a battle, is who in your expert opinion, if you had to pick right now, who would be the guy that would be under center for the Buffaloes starting the season?
Man, I would think probably only because of the experience, probably Caden Salter
Okay.
because of the experience. But I'm the type of guy. I've been seeing Julian Lewis forever. Like I know what type of competitor he is. If you think that he's going to concede that quarterback battle, you crazy. Like so,
Mhm.
I think you won't know until after the spring. But I think it goes into the fall. To be honest, like
Okay.
you're not going to know who that quarterback is until the fall because that's how good of a quarterback Julian Lewis is, and he's never had these type of toys to play with.
Yeah.
I think so. To keep it a buck right now, Salter because of the experience, but
Mhm.
you won't know until they line them up. So once they line them up, then you'll have a better idea of who it'll be. But if I had to put my money on spring, I'll probably go Caden Salter just for now.
Got you. Coach Prime and the Buffs, man, they were literally one game away from possibly being in the Big 12 championship last year. Literally, they could have been. They was one game away. That's a big turnaround from year one to year two. You know, winning 4 games and then almost being in the Big 12 championship game this past season.
Right.
Should Colorado be considered the favorites this year with Arizona State coming back, with potentially a TCU coming up, with potentially Utah still out there, depending on what happens with their quarterback position? Is Colorado the favorite, or at least one of the top 3 in that conference this year for the Big 12 championship?
Top 3, no question.
Okay. All right.
Like it ain't even close. When you look at the roster that they have and what they were able to do, because now they've been able to raise the floor. When you get a 1-11 team, you got to do some roster processing because the guys that are there were 1-11 kids.
Very true. Very true.
Some of those kids, and I know there was a lot made out of it, and the whole I'm bringing Louis luggage, and I mean, hell, if you got the number 1 pick and the Heisman winner, I mean, that ain't no jam sport. So when you think about it, like he did what he said he was going to do. So now you're getting like the high school the high school recruits that you're bringing in are the perfect fit for your system. You look at what they were able to do in the transfer portal, and you look at not even what they did in the transfer portal this year, what they did last year, right?
Yeah.
That's where you saw guys that were on the bench that didn't play this year that have learned the system and that are ready to play. You look at a guy like Colton Hood, who a lot of people were upset about him leaving Auburn, right?
Yeah.
He probably had arguably the best spring last year of anybody in the secondary. He goes out every time you saw him, he makes plays. Now he'll be a starter. So just thinking about what they have on the bench and that wasn't starting last year, I think overall this may be a stronger team than last year.
Really?
Now you're not depending on Shador. You're not depending on Travis. They're going to depend on each other. And it reminds me of when, I don't know if you remember this, but when Peyton Manning went to the league that year, they won the national championship the next year. Peyton Manning, one of the all-time great quarterbacks in history, but T. Martin was the guy who got it done. But so they lost a lot in those key positions. In that key position, as far as because Peyton Manning is one of the greatest of all time, but that team as a whole was better, and I think you may see that same effect in Colorado.
Okay, man, that's what's up, man. This team potentially could be better than the team that had the Heisman Trophy winner,
for sure.
Whew, man, I'm gonna ask you this, and then we're gonna get up out of here, man. This is gonna be the first time I think ever that Coach Prime is going to be coaching without having Shador or Shiloh on the sidelines on the team with them. I know you've spoken with him, and I don't know if y'all spoke about this or not, but just from your thoughts, how is that going to affect him? Is this something that he's excited about? Is this something that potentially that we can see hinder him, or is this something that you just think is just another challenge that he's just trying that's in front of him that he wants to overcome? What are your thoughts on that?
It's just a challenge, and it's not even really a challenge because he's someone who genuinely pours in to the youth, regardless. Now, part of that youth that he was pouring into just happened to be some guys that were related to him.
Mhm.
But when you look at the way he pours into everybody in that area, look at his relationship with Miss Peggy. Like it don't matter. Like that's just who he is as a person. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of the times we confuse the shiny stuff and the glam and the glitz that comes along with Coach Prime with who Deion Sanders is as a person. You got a character, and then a character which could become a caricature
Mm-hmm.
based on what the media, how they magnify it. Then you got Deion Sanders, the person. And then there's an intersection where Coach Prime and Deion Sanders meet where you're going to get hard-nosed football coaching and also someone who wants you to become a man off the field. And he's taking responsibility for cultivating manhood. And I think that's where you're going to see him excel this year because he's going to be able to do that without his kids being around. So no matter where you go, these people are always going to have whispers of daddy ball and stuff like that. That's out the window. So you're going to see now there are going to be some guys who have special relationships with Coach Prime because it happens at every college, at every little league team. It happens in football. But I'm telling you, like, you want to see the unity of a team. I think sometimes, and this is not addition by subtraction, but what I would say is this when people know that the star player is gone and you got talent around you and they know they got to evenly bear the weight that star player had, and you had one on offense and defense, or really two on offense and one on defense, right? These guys are literally going to take a team approach. You can see the culture already. Like, it's not, oh, we glad they gone. It's, dang, dog, they led us here. We can't let them down. And that's the vibe I'm getting from Colorado, and that's why I think they'll easily be a top 3 team in the Big 12.
Yeah, I think I'm paraphrasing this because I think you said Colorado is. I think you said you spoke with him one time and you said, what is it about Colorado? And he told you, man, come see it, is what you basically said. Like the culture that they building there is like second to none in college football, man. That's what's up, man. Dukes, man. I appreciate you so much, man, for giving us a little bit of your time, man. I know everybody knows who you are, but man, shout out.
They don't, bro. Don't say that.
Hey, man, just shout out where they can find you at, man. Because you know, man, we appreciate you so much, man. Let everybody know where they can find you at, my guy.
Man, Instagram and Twitter at Dukes D Scoop. If you're watching me and you're an Auburn fan, I got Auburn content on my page at Dukes D Scoop on YouTube. There's a playlist, Auburn videos on there. I got a great interview with Sean Shivers that we did last week where he's talking about his relationship with Derek Cooper, who some consider to be the top running back in college football. High school football.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I got tons of other content. So, man, come check us out. Shout out Skull Buffs, War Eagle. Go Dogs, everything. I'm doing it all, baby.
Yes, sir, man. Yeah, man. Dukes, man. We appreciate you so much for giving us some of your time, man. Shout out, man. We thank you, man, so much for helping the water cool out, man. We young and we just trying to grow. We just trying to keep going, man. But we appreciate you gracing us with your presence, my guy.
And if I don't tell you nothing else, bro, I started this junk on Twitter, and I probably done made about $500,000 doing it, bro. So you can do it.
Ooh, y'all heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
No, yeah, don't. I should have told you that offline. Listen, bro. You can do it, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. We are the Water Cooler Talk here, man. We are here Monday through Friday, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, man, giving you a daily show. You can follow us on Facebook at the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, on Instagram and TikTok at the Water Cooler Talk. Hey, we trying to grow our presence on Twitter. They call it X now at CoolersPod23. And of course, subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell button here on YouTube, man. We appreciate y'all so much for rocking with us tonight, man. Come check us out, man. For everybody that a lot of people that are in the chat, a lot of people that was watching. If you haven't watched us before, man, we appreciate you so much. And as I tell all of our followers, man, thank y'all so much for giving us a little bit of your time, because you didn't have to do it. You didn't have to hit the subscribe button, but you did give us a chance, and you did come and sit around the water cooler with us as we talk about Auburn sports and SEC, man. And as always, before we get up out of here, man, all hearts and minds are clear. Y'all have a good one. Better yet, y'all have a great one. Y'all be blessed, man. And as always, one love. We'll see you tomorrow. And we out this mug. Holla.
Boys and girls of all ages, you're tuned into the Water Cooler Talk Podcast, the biggest podcast in the world. Yeah.
Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and hit the notification bell so you know when we post more videos and go live.